Welcome to Northwoods Pursuit, your gateway to the untamed stories of the wild. From the Texas Hill Country to the Great Smoky Mountains of Tennessee, wild hogs are turning the American countryside into a battlefield. They are not native. They were introduced in the 15th century and now roam across more than 35 states. Breeding rapidly, a single sow can give birth to as many as 12 piglets per litter. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss our next wild adventure. In Texas, wild hogs inflict an estimated $118 million in damage every year, tearing through cornfields, contaminating water sources, and carrying the looming threat of African swine fever, a disease that could devastate the livestock industry. Warmer weather is making matters worse, giving these invasive animals the ability to expand their range into nearby states like South Carolina and Georgia. Beyond the environmental damage, wild hogs have become a political flashpoint. Texas actively encourages hunting through the USDA's National Wild Hog Management Program, pouring millions into efforts to keep their numbers in check. Tennessee takes a different stance, labeling wild hogs as pests and making it illegal to transport or release them in an effort to stop disease spread. These contrasting approaches have sparked friction between neighboring states, each grappling with the same relentless problem in very different ways. Deep in the Texas Hill Country, one determined rancher has taken an unusual stand against a relentless enemy. On his 50-acre farm, he's carved a trench 6 feet deep and 10 feet wide, encircling the property like a fortress. It's not just a barrier, it's a lifeline. The trench humanely traps wild hogs, guiding them into a contained area where USDA Wildlife Services can safely remove and relocate them. This compassionate yet practical method has spared his crops and property from destruction. In the early days, digging by hand was grueling work, taking months to complete, far too slow to keep pace with surging hog population. But with the help of backhoes, the same job now takes only a few days and costs about $20,000. Considering wild hogs cause millions in damages annually, it's a bargain. These trenches have become a powerful tool, halting the invaders in their tracks and protecting Texas farmland from further loss. As wild hog numbers continue to explode, many hunters have turned to a more controlled method, bow hunting. In Texas, it's an officially approved way to help manage the population, but it comes with clear rules. Hunters must have proper licenses, seasonal permits, and follow humane practices. These safeguards aren't just red tape. They're designed to prevent careless hunting that could scatter hog herds, accelerate the spread of African swine fever, and spark fierce opposition from animal rights advocates. Around 2010, Texas hunters added another clever tool to their arsenal, the hog tube, made from a simple length of 4-inch PVC pipe. It's drilled with small holes, packed with corn, and chained securely in place. When hogs nudge the tube, a few kernels spill out, holding their attention for hours. A small bell alerts hunters when hogs arrive, giving them the chance to act, whether that means taking a clean, legal shot or capturing the animals for removal. The setup is simple. Space hog tubes roughly 200 yards apart, keep an eye on activity with game cameras, and always stay within local permit regulations. While this method isn't guaranteed to deliver huge hauls every time, some hunters have managed to capture as many as 15 hogs in a single night using the system. But wild hogs are far more than a backcountry headache. They become a serious and costly threat to Texas economy. In addition to tearing up farmland, they've damaged infrastructure in both suburban neighborhoods and city streets. Their relentless rooting has caused millions of dollars in losses, impacting small businesses from grocery stores to restaurants. They tear into trash, spread dangerous diseases, and leave behind unsafe, unsanitary conditions wherever they roam. Wild hogs aren't just a nuisance, they're a test of how we balance nature, community, and responsibility. Every hunter plays a role in that balance, whether by using humane trapping methods, following state regulations, or passing on knowledge to the next generation. This isn't just about protecting crops or saving money. It's about preserving the land for our children and the wildlife that truly belongs here. So keep your skills sharp, your ethics sharper, and your respect for the outdoors at the forefront. The fight against invasive hogs is far from over, and every choice matters. Stick with Northwoods Pursuit as we uncover more stories from the wild. From the front lines of conservation to the hidden corners of America's backcountry, your next adventure is just one video away. As a professional hunter, I've chased wild boars across the globe, but nothing compares to autumn in Europe. Beneath golden forest canopies, massive boars roam, destroying farmlands and pushing farmers to the edge. Today, my team and I are back in action, working to control this growing threat. Wild boars aren't just a nuisance, they're wrecking entire harvests and livelihoods. That's why more regions now rely on strategic hunts to protect food supplies and rural life. Love real-world hunting and conservation stories? Hit that subscribe button and join us here at Northwoods Pursuit. We hit the forest at dawn, fully loaded with gear and ready for action. For this hunt, I went with my Merkel RX Relic, paired with a cutting-edge ET3 Tactical RDN3X scope. Less than an hour after setting up, I spotted movement. A group of wild boars burst from the underbrush, startled and fast. These weren't your average pigs. They were massive, winter-hardened beasts with shaggy coats and thick tusks that looked like something out of a nightmare. Thanks to the scope, I had solid control at both mid and long range. One by one, I squeezed the trigger. My shots echoed through the forest as the boars crashed down the slopes, sending golden leaves flying with them. But this isn't easy work. Not every shot lands clean. These animals are tough, lightning fast, and use the terrain to their advantage. Every second demands razor-sharp focus. We stayed sharp, scanning the brush for movement. In the distance, one boar was already on the run, hounded by our tracking dogs. It darted through the trees, desperate to escape, but one clean shot from my rifle dropped it fast. More followed. It became clear that this forest was overrun with boars. With such numbers, it's no surprise they raid nearby farms when food runs low. The damage they cause isn't minor, it's devastating for the people trying to make a living off the land. As we pushed deeper into the woods, I caught sight of another boar weaving through the undergrowth. It didn't offer a clean shot right away, but I waited, tracked its pace, and finally took it down. Gunshots echoed around us. Other hunters were locking in too. These animals weren't hiding. Every few steps, a new silhouette emerged from shadows. In this kind of hunt, reaction time and pinpoint accuracy weren't just helpful, they were critical. We were riding high on the momentum of our success. The boars we brought down were nothing short of beasts, huge frames, thick hides, and menacing tusks. Still, I kept my focus steady. This wasn't just about the thrill of the hunt, it was about doing our part to protect local farms from destruction. Boars may be fast and unpredictable, but our marksmanship kept them in check. Each echoing shot was proof that we were making progress. By this point, I had already dropped several targets. The crack of gunfire echoed through the forest, spooking the rest and sending them into a frenzy, only pushing our adrenaline higher. I reloaded quickly, ready for whatever came next. Surrounded by barking hounds and the sound of leaves crunching under hooves, we watched as more boars surged through the trees. The action was non-stop, and this hunt was shaping up to be one we'd never forget. Hunting isn't just about the excitement, it's about responsibility. Each shot we take helps restore balance between man and nature, protecting crops, communities, and ecosystems. But this job requires respect, discipline, and a deep understanding of the animals we track. At Northwoods Pursuit, we believe in ethical hunting and real-world conservation. If you're passionate about wildlife management and want a front-row seat to the action, don't miss our upcoming adventures. Subscribe now and join us on the next hunt. This video is for educational and awareness purposes. All scenes follow local laws and ethical hunting guidelines. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're diving into a wild and gritty showdown, humans versus one of the most destructive invasive species on the planet. These animals aren't just a nuisance. They wreak havoc on entire ecosystems and devastate agricultural lands. This is the gripping story of a farmer's uphill battle to protect his livelihood from an unlikely enemy, the wild boar. It might look harmless at first glance, but don't be fooled, this creature is a walking wrecking ball. Just this past fall, deep in rural Texas, cornfields became ground zero for an all-out invasion. Dozens of feral hogs stormed the land, and what they left behind wasn't just damage, it was devastation. These beasts don't graze, they plunder. With noses that can sniff out food from miles away, they moved in with their young, tearing through crops meant for harvest, and leaving the soil looking like it had been through a war zone. In this story, we'll uncover how one simple misstep during planting season can open the door to disaster. When farmers don't take precautions, they risk losing everything before a single sprout breaks the soil. Wild boars are quick to seize the opportunity. They'll root up freshly planted seeds before they even have a chance to grow. Their heavy tracks are often the first sign of trouble, stamped clearly across the soft earth. And when they hit a cornfield, they don't nibble around the edges. They charge straight to the heart of it, tearing through rows like a wrecking crew. Corn isn't just food for wild boars. It's a full-course buffet packed with energy and nutrients. That's why they're drawn to it like magnets. These fields become their perfect hideout and feeding ground, offering both cover and calories. But what starts as a feast for the hogs quickly turns into a nightmare for farmers, as entire acres are leveled in a matter of hours. Across the U.S., wild boars are more than just a rural nuisance. They're a full-blown crisis, racking up an estimated $2.5 billion in damage every year. In Texas alone, during the peak of corn harvest season, the problem gets so out of hand that state agencies are forced to ramp up control efforts. But despite traps, fences, and coordinated hunts, the boar population keeps growing, and so does the destruction. For countless farmers, it's like fighting a losing battle, one field at a time. Sure, hunting wild hogs has become a favorite pastime for many sport shooters, but there's more to it than pulling a trigger. Legal restrictions and safety rules are critical, especially when hunting on private land or near crops. Hunters often lie in wait, moving quietly and taking careful aim when the animals let their guard down. Still, as thrilling as the hunt may be, it's only a temporary fix for a long-term problem. When wild boars tear through cornfields, they don't stop at the farm's edge. They often push into nearby neighborhoods, bringing chaos with them. Picture this, you're out for a casual bike ride past a quiet field, and out of nowhere, a wild hog bolts across your path, tearing through fences, brush, and anything in its way. These animals aren't just a threat to crops, they're a danger to people, pets, and property. While farmers have tried to hold the line with fences, traps, and deterrents, the results are hit or miss. Boars are smart, strong, and relentless, especially during harvest season. In some of the worst cases, entire teams of hogs have been known to decimate up to 50 acres of corn in a single night. That's not just frustrating, it's financially devastating. In a desperate effort to take back their land, some farmers have turned to night hunts right on their own property. But this isn't a job for amateurs. Tracking wild boars in the dark takes years of experience, a steady hand, and razor-sharp instincts. These animals move fast, travel in aggressive packs of 10 to 20, and don't give second chances. One misstep and they're gone. But the damage goes far beyond the fields. Wild boars aren't just crop killers, they're a full-blown ecological threat. They pollute water sources, endanger livestock, disrupt native wildlife, and even put people at risk. These invasive beasts will eat just about anything, from plants to small animals, even the remains of the dead. They're not just pests, they're a growing danger that's forcing rural communities to stay constantly on guard. Wild boars aren't just a rural problem anymore. They've been spotted digging through city dumpsters, spreading disease, and even bringing traffic to a halt as they charge through urban streets. This isn't just a nuisance, it's a growing crisis. The fight to protect our farmland, wildlife, and communities is intensifying, and the need for real, lasting solutions has never been more critical. But this battle goes far beyond cornfields. It's about safeguarding our environment, securing our food supply, and defending a way of life that's been built on the land for generations. So let's stand behind the farmers and ranchers on the front lines, because what they're fighting for affects us all. But wild boars are just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. Invasive species are wreaking havoc across the globe. Take Australia, for example, where an estimated 287 million feral rabbits have drastically transformed both the natural environment and farming landscapes. What started as a small population quickly spiraled into an ecological nightmare. And rabbits aren't the only issue. Australia has also been locked in a long-term struggle with other invasive animals like wild goats, feral camels, and the European red fox. Many of these species were brought over by European settlers centuries ago, intended for food, milk, or sport hunting. But once they escaped into the wild, they multiplied rapidly, outpacing native species and upsetting fragile ecosystems. To keep these invasive species in check, the Australian government has approved large-scale hunting of certain animals. In fact, some farmers have found a way to turn the problem into profit, capturing and selling invasive species to help offset the financial damage they've caused. So while the thrill of the hunt might draw headlines, the real takeaway here is this: managing invasive species like wild boars and feral goats isn't just about pulling the trigger. It's about protecting ecosystems, supporting farmers, and preserving a way of life that's under siege. Responsible hunting, guided by science and regulation, can play a role, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. As our natural world faces mounting pressure, awareness and action matter more than ever. Thanks for tuning in. And if you care about wildlife, agriculture, and the future of our environment, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our next video. The fight is far from over. This video is for educational and awareness purposes. All scenes follow local laws and ethical hunting guidelines.